They're trying to do a Guinness World Record for the number of people who will wear a bald cap.
And the one time she didn't wear it, they lost.
A big truckload of Kit Kats were stolen.
The first thing that we have to talk about, it's been all over the news, is the...
This is Feed the Feed, the podcast for brands, marketers and creators who are tired of hearing about 5-year plans while their engagement is tanking today. I'm Leah.
And I'm Chesca.
Every episode we do exactly what it says on the tin. We feed the feed.
We're here to see who's killing it right now and how to actually move at the speed of a scroll.
Let's get into it.
Hi everyone!
And we're back.
For episode 4 of Feed the Feed. So hot topics of the week.
Yes.
It's been a busy all week, all round. I think the first thing that we have to talk about, it's been all over the news, is the social media ban for under 16s.
I know, I feel really bad. But then I'm also like... could be good. I don't know. I think it could be a good thing, but I also don't know. I appreciate probably the younger generation. I say 27, the younger generation.
I know,
Might
we're
not
old
agree.
now. We're old.
No, we're not. We're not.
No, I think it's there's obviously good things and bad things, and I think the marketing world was super nervous about it. Not that everyone's demographics are under 16s, but a lot of their audiences are that young, who then pester their parents to be like, oh, please buy me this,
I want a phone,
etc.
Yeah.
But not all hope is lost, because I mean, we've got a bit of a case study going from Australia, because they actually did it 6 months earlier, which has kind of set everybody up to know what could potentially happen. This is of course only in Australia, but I believe Tumblr and Pinterest have increased a multitude.
Yeah, I saw this. So Tumblr's up 241%, Pinterest 155. I love Pinterest. I feel like I've not been on Tumblr for years, but I feel like when was I 16? I can't remember. However old we were way back when.
Surely.
Probably, but absolutely obsessed with Pinterest, so I can understand probably why people are jumping over there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of brands are on Pinterest already, so they might just have to upweight that strategy and that marketing funnel. I'll be interested to see what Pinterest and these other platforms do in order to like engage that younger audience, because they know that traffic is coming. And I know like WhatsApp, for instance, is having like a full change. You're getting usernames now, which I thought was really interesting. I got a little notification. I was like,
Oh, I didn't see that.
What are you guys doing? So yeah, watch this space. Brands, get yourselves over to Pinterest.
Maybe
and
they need to do
Tumblr.
posters. What was that girl that said, what are you going to do, and just going to stare at the wall? Maybe they just need posters everywhere. Just have it. And that way they can promote that way as well.
Say, this is how you'll entertain yourselves. Make a mood board.
Stare at the wall.
Use Pinterest to make
and
a
Tumblr. So another interesting one, which I don't know if anyone's seen it. I don't know how many people actually know this, but Pitbull, they're trying to do a Guinness World Record at the Hyde Park London concert, which Pitbull is headlining, for the number of people who will wear a bald cap to a concert. Yeah,
because didn't they do like a full social media post with the rules? Because isn't a Guinness World Book like really like specific about how you've got to get a record
for it? So I feel like if you're in London near Hyde Park on the 10th of July, be expected to just see them. You're not seeing things. There's going to be a trillion people probably walking around with
a myriad of bald caps.
I know, but then interestingly, okay, so is this a way for brands to jump in with certain activations? I mean, bald caps, could we have any hair brands? We don't know.
Or scalp sun cream. It could be a hot day. We've had a couple hot days in the UK recently.
So far, razors.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Spitball at this point. Well, I actually have one of my brands.
Spitball like Pitbull.
Spitball like Pitbull. Inside a scoop, actually, I actually have a brand that's attending. I'm not going to say who it is, but I feel like people will be quite impressed / a little bit surprised at what's going to come. So watch this space, and I'm interested to see if people like, if anything will pick up on brands that they're very interested that have gone. I remember in Manchester, and I thought, walking down Deansgate, I thought, I don't even need to know. I didn't need to look at any social media because I knew what was happening already. I thought, yeah, Co-op Live, Pitbull's probably on. Lo and behold, everyone was walking down the street.
Oh, God.
So yeah, another big moment coming up.
Another moment which has been kind of controversial, and you know we love them. Kylie Jenner, the Kardashian-Jenner clan.
Meta glasses. I love these.
I mean, they look great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you know what I saw the price? Do you know how expensive they are?
I don't. Do I want to know?
£426. I feel like
that's
I can't
like a designer sunglass though.
Yeah,
really.
but like
it's expensive, but it's like on the same.
Imagine putting that on your Christmas list. talking about 16-year-olds if they're going like, Mum, I want £426 glasses.
Yeah, I mean, wearable tech is massive. Like you've got the Oura Ring, your Apple Watch, Garmin watches. I think next thing you know, it'll be, instead of earphones, it'll be earrings that play music through. That's patented. I want some money for that idea.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, there's the Ray-Ban. Have you seen the Ray-Ban glasses that they play? I remember wearing them once and I was like,
what world am I in?
Obviously Meta's had these glasses for ages, but the design of the glasses I don't ever think they're quite boring. I personally think they're quite boring. I mean, we see Kylie everywhere.
Yep.
We talk about the Kardashians a lot, but we do see her everywhere, and I think for this partnership, when I saw it and the design of the glasses, I feel like it makes sense. She's got Kai, her brand, you know, she is kind of known in the fashion space. I also think it could unlock a whole new level of content through different types of creators, fashion creators, beauty creators. Will they be wearing the glasses? I've seen people just wearing them as normal everyday, you know, design, or they just want to have it for like a fashion moment. Was I surprised to see her as the face of it? Not really. I think in my head, I think it like made a load of sense, and I think they were clever with how they've done this, and maybe this will unlock however many other like celebrities that will now release a different style of glasses. I don't know.
Well, I think they have kind of chosen her though, because it is a controversial conversation almost, because she has complained in the past about being in the public eye and being on camera all the time, and then she's then publicising a camera that you can wear, so then you're capturing everyone on camera. So there's been a bit of controversy around that, whether it's right, what the next step is, but of course as tech grows and as things continue, these issues all rise in terms of privacy. But like you were saying earlier about creators, I mean, ASMR, or like, you know, I find myself on the side of TikTok where it's like watching a man cook out in the wilderness on like a log fire by a river or something, and like for him, he's probably got a whole setup, but he just needs his Meta glasses.
Well, I think it could be like, you know how there's like Come With Me or like POVs of it, could be like through my eyes. I was watching the advert and I was like, God, I feel like I'm in her house, like following her behind anything. But I do get a bit creeped out that I feel like people can be. I've had interactions with people and have not realised that they're wearing these type of glasses, and I'm like, am I being filmed? I don't know, like which is what's happening. But
we're obviously starting to see a lot of tech in loads of different mediums now. I mean, even in football, VAR was the biggest thing to happen to football in like a long time. And I'm not getting into the whole football thing. I know a lot of people don't like it, but at the World Cup, there's been tech, hasn't there?
When I was watching it, so I was like there's a lot of spaces that you can now go and watch the football, and I was like, I don't know if I was imagining things, because I just remember seeing one of the refs having this big thing next to his eye, and then I've realised, like, I don't know how any people that are interested in football, I don't know how long that's been a thing, but I don't remember it ever being through their eyes, like running around. But it also shows obviously like a whole new perspective of the field, kind of like the Meta glasses in a sense, but like you're getting to see almost through the referee's perspective. I don't know, it almost feels like you're in a game. Like when I was watching it, like they're still running and then they're playing it back, I'm like, you feel like you're watching someone play a video game. That's how it felt.
Yeah, we've got a big summer of sport this year, haven't we?
But yeah, I'm excited for summer. I mean, I like all sports, but I am excited for this big summer of sports. And to help us dive a little bit deeper, we have Jade. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
To introduce you to Jade, she is our growth director at Campfire, and she's going to help us chat all things summer of sport.
I know.
Very exciting. No, thank you for having me.
So I feel like we've dove in before. We have touched on the World Cup in some of our past episodes. Lego, to name one of the brands that we spoke about with the World Cup Lego piece. We obviously talked about Timothy. Sorry, we talk about you every week as well. One of the ones that I have seen is the Nike Rip the Script. 6 minutes long. Kind of similar to the Adidas one, actually, in terms of the cinematic filming that we've mentioned before. It's actually just hit 69 million views, and it's got a lot of big names. Kim, she's in there again, not to drag all the Kardashians. Kim's in there. We've got LeBron James in there. I was watching every 2 minutes. I was like, someone was coming out of the woodworks. Mbappe was in there. But yeah, I know we touched on the Adidas one last time and how big and well that was doing. So it's interesting that the two competitors, in a sense, have released something a little bit similar.
Yeah, I believe Adidas has sold $292 million worth of World Cup merch
Doesn't
in that
surprise me.
time. Obviously the ad came out a lot earlier this year, before the World Cup, like on the lead up to the first game kickoff, but it's clearly doing its job. I mean, that return on investment is crazy. I would love to know what their margin is like in that
Big
old margin.
is
And their
big.
spend.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I feel like the commercialization, though, because it's in America, has been such a huge impact, because they're used to having the kind of like halftime, you know, like think of the Super Bowl. They're used to having these big performances. Like obviously you've seen quite a lot of kickoff about the hydration breaks, but then they're utilizing the hydration breaks to, you know, do some ads or
Plug
something
the
like
ads.
Also,
that.
let them. I couldn't run around for God knows how long.
I know,
without
and
having a little
it's
slurp
been
or
hot.
something.
It's
Yeah,
been
it has.
so hot.
It has.
So
to be
like,
fair.
I feel like the fact that it's in the US has given that added layer of commercialization and an added layer of obviously opportunity. Like there's so many more people that are going to have eyes on this, so tap into it.
I mean, another brand that has activated is McDonald's. So they have done an ad with David Beckham, Thierry Henry, Ronaldinho, and a couple of other players, and their like interest or media coverage around the World Cup has actually surpassed that of Lego, Nike and Adidas.
Really?
I think it's a controversial brand.
It is.
Because it's supposed to be about health and well-being and
very
things
true,
like that.
actually.
And actually McDonald's is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So
It's
it
apple
surprises.
slices in there, I think.
Yeah.
With carrots.
I've got those little carrot bags. I can't imagine anyone's ever bought them.
Yeah.
But like, it surprises me that people who are on such a high pedestal, like David Beckham, like Thierry Henry, would go and, you know, they've sold the soul to the cachet.
There was the whole controversy when Stormzy did it, like, because they were like, Stormzy, you're a sellout, like, how have you done this, like, this isn't what you would order
Was
from
that his?
McDonald's.
Yeah, his meal deal was like rubbish. It was like Sprite. I can't remember. It was
Sprite,
like so
chicken
boring.
nuggets,
Yeah,
and
and it was
something
just like,
else.
what in the meal deal is that?
But that just shows like these big names bring a lot of following, especially when it's specific in football culture. So World Cup in general is incredible, but I'll never ever forget WAG era of football.
Still here. I just think we've like reversed it. I don't know. I feel like we've got a new era of WAG culture coming out.
No one's going to be as iconic as Colleen and Cheryl, though.
I mean,
Victoria Beckham.
well, you say that, but in the F1, the newest lady on the block is Alex Leclerc, so Charles Leclerc's wife.
So Alexandra Leclerc, yeah, I can understand why, but she's up in searches by 300% since the F1 started. That posture of her walking around the paddock. I mean, I'm not. If I was to be a WAG, I feel like I'd want to be an F1 WAG. You're on a yacht, you're walking around, but this woman, I can understand why she's up 300. I'm probably like 200% of that search.
Do you want to know who's already
Alright,
tapped
stalker.
into her though? And I read it online. The girly pops now. Road got
Hailey
in there
Biebs.
quick.
They did.
And they've been rubbing shoulders with the likes of Alex Earl, Hailey Bieber. Like, everyone knows everyone in that circuit. But what we are noticing so much more now in sport is that it's almost becoming a lot more accessible to women, because women's sport and women in sport is a huge thing at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got the women who won the Euros, and women's football in general has grown, and now women in F1 is grown as well. And it's almost why all of these like skincare, makeup, not the traditional luxury brands that have always sponsored these events, are now getting involved, because they can see that their audience is engaged, whether it's to look at the drivers or look at the fashion or who's in the paddock.
Yeah. But when you're saying about the WAG aesthetic and how it used to be, it's actually still here. So hashtag WAG aesthetic is, I think it was 1.7 million views on TikTok. That's what it's got at the minute. I'm like, everyone's wanting, I don't know if you've seen like a lot of fashion brands or like singular fashion people, they've created like all of the personalized football tops. Like everything's gone to like a baby tee football top because of the World Cup, or like with the F1, I'm starting to see, as you say, it's like a fashion show rather than it actually being, probably, I mean, maybe we're seeing the other side of it, maybe I am seeing the TikTok side of it, but I'm seeing more of the behind the scenes of these events. And like, you know, they're zooming in on the crowd to Ronaldo's wife, what she's called, Georgina,
Georgina.
well done. other like big names or like newer names who've got girlfriends, you know, Jude Bellingham, his girlfriend's always on the big screen. Like,
funnily enough though, Jordan Woods, she had in the NBA, her husband plays for the Knicks, and she has this bright orange bag that is her own brand, and since she has been wearing that bag courtside, they have been on a winning streak, and the one time she didn't wear it, they lost. So she has been bringing that back to every game.
No, we put it in like a glass box that she can bring it to every time, and like having an actual stand for it. But no, it isn't.
But then that has then catapulted her brand, because all the women who are watching it are like, oh, what's Jordan's bag from? Like, this is nice, because she's got it in loads of different styles, and that is organic brand promotion if I've ever seen it. So being a part of these key events, it works for you because you're in that moment.
But do we think as women, are we the ones that like care about this, or do you think men care about this? Are we seeing it? Valid point. Because I'm like, do we care because we're women and we're like noticing these things, and do men? Yeah, you're right. They probably
do.
Sorry, not to generalize. But...
yeah, not to generalize, but I suppose it depends. Like, we're looking at the fashion, we're looking at the accessibility of that kind of WAG culture, and they're probably just focusing on. If
you had to be a WAG, which would you want to be? Abdibs F1, unless you want to be in the yacht next to me, it's fine.
You know what? I wouldn't mind being a Wimbledon WAG.
Such a good shout.
Be quiet though.
No. I
Cast you out then.
Yeah. Come on. Drunk on Pims in the back.
Bit of strawberries and cream. I'd love to be a Wimbledon WAG. I mean, first of all, I love like the aesthetic, the clothes. I mean, one of the brands who has almost always been a Wimbledon brand in my eyes is Odd Muse.
Yeah.
And Amy, who's the founder, has been on podcasts and stuff before, and she's always said like that was almost like a given that Odd Muse was supposed to be there because people were wearing it. Molly May wore an Odd Muse dress in 2024, and that wasn't a paid partnership or anything. It was I don't even think it was gifted actually.
No,
the stylist had messaged Amy but never got back to her, so she purchased the dress and Molly wore it and she loved it, spoke about it all over social media, and then it then went on to Odd Muse going for the first time in 2025, the first time they took a couple of influencers like Lorna Lux, who was the original person who wore the blazer and stuff. Odd Muse was founded in 2020 and the turnover is about 22 million, so the brand itself has grown exponentially in the last couple of years, but overall the aesthetic and like having that automatic association, just because the majority of her dresses were like white or black or those specific colours that you do see at Wimbledon, it was almost a given that she would then take people the next year. And one thing I really rate about her is she stands on that she's never paid anyone to wear her dresses. She just gifts them in the hopes that they might want to wear it because they love the style, they love the dress, they love the quality. And that really shows because look at the sales, like they've grown incredibly.
But I guess as well, like the design of the dress is so fitting for Wimbledon that you can imagine as well, probably for Molly May, who's thinking like, God, well, I wouldn't know what to wear to Wimbledon, and you're thinking like it's kind of it is the tennis chic-esque designs and like the culture of it. I mean, being at centre court in Wimbledon, such a big thing. I mean, I hear people queuing for God knows how long. So I remember seeing TikToks way back when actually of Amy saying like 10 people were wearing her designs, or like over the space of Wimbledon, like 10 people had worn her designs at the centre court. And I'm like, what good branding. Again, like once they pan around with the cameras, I'm sure you can catch loads of people wearing. I mean, I wouldn't be sat next to someone with the same dress on. So I'm interested to see with this Wimbledon this summer. I haven't seen. Has anyone seen designs?
I saw the icon that is Maura wearing. I think it was a Chanel dress, but she has put. I don't know if these are a specific brand or if she's made these herself. But the tennis balls are the bottom of her heel.
Yeah, I've seen as people are popping them.
So I reckon. I can imagine she's got a personal stylist. So obviously they're either someone has made them bespoke for her, or they've done a bit of a DIY job, which I can't imagine.
So I also saw Rolex has also just brought out a new line for Wimbledon, and again, I feel like Rolexes are good, and either I love or I hate sometimes, but these ones specifically, there's yellow faces, and like they've got on the dial at the side, they've got mini little tennis rackets as well, and like there's another one which is there's got Wimbledon, I think it's like purple, and it's got Wimbledon tennis rackets on it as well. So like all of these brands are coming out with different incentives or like collaborations.
I mean, going back to like Wimbledon WAGs. Yasmin from Made in Chelsea, not sure if you're Made in Chelsea
fan.
lovers. Her boyfriend is a tennis player, so she's sitting courtside all the time, and she does like come to court with me and does the whole get ready with me. She did the little tennis balls on the heel, tennis balls on the earrings. So it's a trend.
Just
And
dresses
you know
in
what?
tennis
Branded tennis balls, get on it.
Yeah.
Like, do the miniatures. The girls love them. They'll recreate it. They'll go outside Wimbledon and to the main areas and be like, look, I'm part of it. It's
100%.
great.
And there's always loads of brand pop-ups. Like the one that I always see a lot is the Evian pop-up. And I feel like that whole bringing moments into like real life, it seems to be like a real trend at the moment, and a real it seems to be that all the brands are popping back on those in real life experiences.
I think because like Evian's been their water partner, I think, for like 18 years or something.
something
So
like
it's
that.
like, but also this year with Wimbledon, it's their like 200-year anniversary for Evian. I think it's like 200 years young rather than 200 years old, which is a clever spin.
Nice.
And they've done these like personal, like 200, I think it's for UK and Ireland, but it's 200 of these like water bottle bags that's designed by 3 different artists, and they've got them, it's almost like people are putting like their water bottles in them, and also like, you know, like the face mist and stuff, which you can imagine going to Wimbledon when it's boiling, and having that, and then like looking around as well. It's like a clever way to just, how can you elevate something, celebrate the anniversary, but also elevate something that's, it's just a bottle really, isn't it? Water. But big things to be watching this summer.
But speaking of big events in the summer, a big marketing event.
Cannes Lion. I really want to go.
You know,
Can we?
thanks to my lovely toddler, I was not able to go this year. But obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, you will have seen it all over LinkedIn. Like everyone who's in the marketing space has been there the last week, which I feel very sorry for them, because it was also when France had their like mega heat wave.
Oh my god!
So I can imagine, unless you were on a yacht or a penthouse, you'd be in absolutely.
Maybe we're in the wrong
else.
business.
No,
Yachts
we're
seem
not.
to be a
We're
running
not,
theme.
because next year, and I'm saying it now, we will be at Cannes Lion and we'll be doing this on the beach.
Let's make that a plan.
Yes.
And we'll get Jade on.
Feed the feed live.
Feed the Feed Live Cannes Lions edition.
2027 be there. But I mean, if you guys don't know what it is, it's literally like the marketing world's Oscars. Everyone from all these big brands, all the big marketing agencies, they essentially tailor a lot of their campaigns to be set up so they can win one of these awards. Last year they had a bit of a controversy year where they had to basically cull quite a lot of the entries and tighten up the rules, essentially because people were, I don't know if they were cheating exactly, but they were just submitting a lot of stuff, which wouldn't necessarily fall under like what makes a great campaign. So Cannes actually saw this year that they had a decrease of 25% in entries. I think I think previous years it'd been about 27,000 and now about 20,000, which is still a significant amount. But essentially the creativity rules have tightened, and they now have to prove that you have stats from your clients, you have the gravitas to actually put yourself forward for one of these prestigious awards, because they are, as they say, they are festival creativity.
So I feel like if you're getting one this year, not to diminish anything the years before, but I feel like if the brands that have won them from this year got them,
I mean, that extra level of I don't know, gravitas, I
big
suppose.
balls.
Shout out to one of our clients. They have won a bronze and silver in a print campaign which we helped support on with their social media activation underneath it. Persil, dirt is good. So well done, guys. We're super proud of you.
Super proud of the team. I think it's really interesting to see the different types of creatives that are put forward. One of probably my favourite ones, which I think won around 11 different awards, which is absolutely incredible. And it's quite smart with how they have taken something that's actually happened to them in real life and made it into a campaign, which is Kit Kat.
Yes, Kit Kat's campaign.
I didn't know that this was real life. I thought it was a spoof.
Well, this is what, people are still a bit unsure of, but they claim still that there was a real heist that happened somewhere on the transition from Italy to Poland, and a big truckload of Kit Kats were stolen.
it's giving like, you know, the kids that used to sell chocolate at school, like if they all just raided and like now they're all running off and selling them off.
I swear I read like they took the strapline too seriously and made a break with 10,000 Kit Kats or whatever.
So that was kind of the reactive part of it. Like they took something that was potentially catastrophic and made it into a huge kind of very smart crisis management campaign. So something that happened in real life, which was this heist, that they then developed that into a social campaign and made it so, you know, we're gonna invite the whole public to find these missing Kit Kats.
Did they find them?
Well, I think
somebody ate them.
I think they then basically made like this tool online. They made like QR codes and like packets to, you know, people for them to scan to try and track this
I got one
heist and these missing Kit Kats. And it was just so clever because they've allowed their agency to be brave, to be bold, to take an idea that no one would ever think, oh my God, we've just lost potentially millions of pounds. Let's, you know, kind of essentially take the piss out of ourselves and make a campaign out of it.
We say this all the time. It's like, especially here, like you want to be brave, you want to be bold, and we want to come up with ideas. And I know we always joke, but like imagine being sat in that meeting and just chucking that idea out on, like to either the client or just kind of spitballing. As you're probably saying, one idea is then led to just ping, 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 ping. Everyone's sitting and saying, we could do this, we could do that. And then it's
what I
worked out
think
for them.
Makes it super effective is that it's like a real life situation that they've jumped on. I mean, we've seen it before with Aldi and M&S. The reason the whole Cuthbert situation came about was because Aldi got served by M&S and they were going to court. So Aldi thought, it's in our tone of voice, let's make a joke about it, and it went viral. And Aldi is obviously the king and queen of going viral. They had fake moss when back at our roots, Manchester, we had a fashion show in Northern Quarter, and they pretended that Kate Moss was in an Aldi shopping when really it was fake Moss. But that in itself, it's a viral moment, and it's talking to something specific that's happening with the brand. And that's what I love about it, because it can't even be replicated because no one else can
but it's hard though as well. I think, like, to your point, being bold, it's such a risk because it can either, in that scenario, I feel like in a way, now that they've gone live with it makes sense. You're saying like there's a lot of jokes you can spitball off, like have a break, have a Kit Kat, and like da. Whereas for some other brands, you can think it's not always replicated in certain ways, and like that crisis management, I feel like you do have to have good ideas around. But then there's also the like, well, we just need to go for it. Let's see what we can do with this, which they've obviously done. It's paid off in the sense of like Cannes Lion, and it's become such a big social media thing. But you can understand maybe for other brands as well that it is risky and it's probably nerve-wracking to be 100%. Able to have to
it's tapping in. Like, obviously they managed to win a Grand Prix award for crisis comms off the back of it, which is incredible, and that was probably never their intention, but that's what's happened. But also the moments that came off the back of that, not just for Kit Kat but for other brands, everyone then started actually replying to their social posts and copying. So they not only had created a marketing activation for themselves, they actually made a cultural shift and trend off the back of something. And that does, you know, to tap into what you've just said, it only will work if it's relevant at the time. And it does show that you need to have that bravery to tap into culture. You need to be reactive. You need to be looking at what other brands are doing on social to understand, is this the moment that we need to jump off the back of, and have those, like, you know, in-house quick brainstorming sessions to come up with those ideas and have that room for activity, because you never know what's going to happen.
Be bold or be brave, but
100%.
with caution. But you could also win
with the brand guidelines.
Do not come back here and shout at us for doing things. But maybe it is, you know, maybe we are in the era of just being brave. I think it can get quite serious online. We all know this, and it's we've said before on certain podcasts, like there's certain brands showing up in comment sections and things that you think, why? Who has someone stolen the phone, or like they've just got access and done this? But then, like, to your point, they're entering into like conversations that are relevant and almost going, no, I'm just going to place myself here, even if it's just a slight reminder, we are this brand, or we are this, and like we shouldn't have anything to do in this conversation.
I always see Specsavers do a really good job at that. I remember, I mean, it must have been a couple of years ago, but Duolingo used to do it, and they used to be like the brand that would show up. And I feel like now it's just part of your standard social media strategy. Like you have to be in other brands' comments, reacting to culture and reacting to what's happening within the moment. Maybe doing a bit of a feud like Aldi does, like maybe driving that hype, but also just being humorous. and humorous.
Don't rage bait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
don't rage
that is, you know, part of that strategy. However, what does the general public think of that? Like, do you think they're onto it? Do they think it's all? Do they realize that it's all being like set up? Like, it'd be interesting to understand that, because for us, it feels very natural. It feels quite normal.
And we always say this, it's like we're sat in these positions working in marketing day in, day out, so you see things and like you can't really switch off your marketing brain, but then to someone else they might be none the wiser and just think, oh, that's clever, or like, oh god, this is something that's kind of like big news.
With the Kit Kat heist, originally when I saw it, and the start of it was, but the mass campaign afterwards was all, you know, all generated. So it's, you know, people might think actually the original heist wasn't real, but I did some research. Apparently it was. Okay. So hopefully all the Kit Kats have been found.
So you heard it here the first. Think outside the box.
Yep. So think outside the Kit Kat.
Another thing that I thought was really interesting at Cannes was you seeing all the actually the social media companies encouraging people to do more offline. So Pinterest did a really cool pop-up where one of their merch actually said less URL, more IRL.
Yes, I saw
which I think was really clever and really
cute.
You know, really cute. But actually it's quite funny that they're encouraging, you know, their business is bringing people online and they want people to play into that platform, but they're also actively encouraging these you know, in real life experiences. They're encouraging more interaction, and it just kind of shows the shift that marketing in general is making of actually, for you to be successful on social, you need to have, you know, the social presence, you need to have the influencer campaign, you need to have the experiential, you need to have 100%. The eventing, you need to have all of that as well. And it is a holistic view on how you consume those brands.
Absolutely. And going back to our point at the very start of the episode with the social media ban, we were saying Pinterest has shot through the roof. I wonder if that's kind of being catered to that 16, like under 16s audience, to make sure that they are still getting out,
100%.
which is a massive thing in not only like culture for everybody but for kids specifically. So I mean, love that from you, Pinterest. Really enjoy that.
It'll be interesting from my perspective. It would be see how then taking those you know, in real life events away from just inviting influencers or marketing space, and actually inviting the community and your real true brand fans. And maybe we'll start to see a bit of a shift on how that plays out over the next couple of months, because 100%. As you say, with the social media ban, they will now need to target people in a different way. And if that is more in real life community-led experiences or on different platforms, it'd be really interesting to see how that pans out.
We will find you.
We will come.
If you want to invite us to it, then, you know,
please.
hook us up. But I think that's a really interesting take on how community is now expanding. Your community interacts through your influencers, and that's how they usually get the products out to people. But actually inviting your true brand fans, that's going to be the next big thing.
Less URL, more IRL.
Yeah.
It's a new logo.
I mean, we can't steal that. That is what Pinterest said. But we can give it a go.
Trademark.
Right, so it's favourite time of the week, or the episode, as we always do. So trusty phones, we'll have it up on screen. But we are doing
Spark Spinner.
Do you want us to do it again? Okay. We'll do it again. Ready?
Am I supposed to be involved in that?
You can sing it as well with us.
Okay, cool.
We're doing
Spark Spinner.
So for this week, I'm gonna just let me see. Right, ready?
Yeah. Press the little button.
Right. Okay. Brands as broadcasters.
Fun. This is interesting.
Topic.
I know we were speaking about Catherine last week from M&S. We love her. She's great. But one thing I have really been loving is the Dish podcast with Waitrose. So it's with a chef and Nick Grimshaw, and they interview like celebrities or different people, and they're cooking for them using all Waitrose wines, foods, products to make the meal. And it's an opportunity to sort of sell product, entertain people, and do the whole thing. And I think we're finding so much more that brands are leaning into this more culturally led, chatty, conversational content to sell their product. And I believe about 78% of the listeners do actually shop at Waitrose and buy like their groceries from Waitrose, which means that they're an engaged audience and they're actually buying what they're selling, which is great. Because they essentially put the recipes that they speak about in the episode, whether it's Brian Cox's favourite meal or Louis Theroux's favourite cocktail kind of vibe, they put it online so that you can go shop the recipe at Waitrose. So you're literally eating like what an icon loves to eat, your favourite person.
And it's all there for you.
It's all there for you. So really convenient. And on YouTube, 35% of their viewership is under 35, which is quite a surprise.
Yeah,
I just think like mum and dads would go shop there. There's a little bit of a higher price point.
It's because of the price point, but actually I think it's similar to M&S, where they've got probably a few more basic ranges which are a bit lower, but actually then you get, you know, you buy in the extras that you see when you're there. But maybe people are going for more quality. Maybe people, obviously there's a lot of a health movement around, you know, cleaner eating, quality of food, you know, buying British and locally sourced. So there's probably a bit more of a moment for that.
Yeah, so that's where brands are starting to go a bit more. I mean, I know a few years back PLT did actually have their PLT podcast, didn't they? Where they'd interview like influencers or famous people.
Is that why we're sat here? Is that why we're doing this?
And that for a time did really sell a lot of product because people were interested in who's the next drop, because it would always coincide with what was next. So it's a really strong way of creating content. I mean, we know that Odd Muse, going back to them, they do a lot of their own content.
All of it as well, like we always say about employee generated content, but I think that is definitely an area that we're seeing a lot of brands now tap into. Like we've said it before and we'll say it again. People want to see the behind the scenes. You want to feel like you're sat in the room with the people. You want to understand what's happening behind. Like, you know, you get fed a lot of things on the internet, but I feel like once you feel like you step back into like whether you're working there, maybe we're also just interested in because like we work in marketing a lot of the time, but I feel like these brands are like a lot of bigger names that we are starting to see this employee generated content. You do get to see that level. I know, as you're saying, Amy, she always had, you know, you got to see a lot of the behind the scenes. You were always with her along the way whenever she was doing like her stores in New York, and she'd have her own vlog, she'd have her own personal branding, but it tied really well into the brand itself's branding as well, and the videos that they were producing. So
for me, it's the authenticity. I think most people are now savvy that they're being sold to, and what is an ad is an ad, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's getting brands to then unlock how they actually communicate their stories in a really authentic way. That behind the scenes, that kind of employee-led content is a way that you can show personality without selling and actually being really authentic. But that taps back into the experiences as well. That is a really authentic way of showcasing your product. I saw recently online, Tresemme had invited a load of influencers to Morocco to showcase their hair products. And actually, I was like, what a great idea, because rather than just going, hi, hashtag ad, this is, you know, me doing a routine, it's actually I'm taking this product to somewhere where it's really humid and showing that it works. And that is the way that it comes across, that it's a, you know, a really good product and it works.
Because there's a little bit of controversy around it online, and we've said before with certain brand trips and, you know, the people that brands are choosing to go and things, but UK Lash at the moment, they've just done one where they've taken influencers, I think they're in Ibiza, they've taken influencers to this villa, you know, kind of, I would say like a typical kind of brand trip, if you will, but the way that they've differentiated it slightly is they've got a certain number of days which is for PR and press. They've then got the influencer side of the trip, and then back to the point of almost like the everyday user, they're bringing a certain number of just normal community led, like, you know, people who are in the community, they're also then bringing them to experience the whole, well, the experience of maybe what an influencer would go for, but there's they don't have an obligation for them to post. But it's almost like, I think this is the first brand trip I've seen in a long time really that's ever kind of done anything like that.
I mean, going back to sort of podcasting and employee generated content, I wonder if Catherine would do a podcast.
Like, I think she should, bless her. She's got time though. She's here, there and everywhere. She's in Jersey, she's this, she's like in the stores, but we said it last time we were discussing it, you now have a face behind like the product line, and like you trust that Catherine.
People buy into the people, don't they?
Well, exactly. So maybe as you're saying with like Dish, I know it's, from what you're saying, it's obviously been on like a podcast for a long time, but it's maybe becoming more popular now because of the style of content, and like as we're saying, this broadcaster style. I feel like we've done the very, like, brands have done the very typical out of home. We've done a lot of the social media posts now, and it's like, are we going to start seeing more and more where like the employees or the people behind the business are now the new face and the new way of marketing? Share Looks, we see it all the time. Look, they've got Looks Gen, they've got their podcast, but they've also got everything they have like built around the business. So I'm interested to see whether it's going to be a new opening.
Well, Odd Muse has just got Sophie back, haven't they?
I know. I feel like that's a whole journey, because she was at, we were talking about Salt last time. She was at Salt. She went over to Salt, I think, for maybe like 6 months, but obviously Salt's a startup, and I think I was watching one of her social posts the other day, and she was saying obviously like working in a startup, like you feel like you've been there for 5 years, but then going back, I think, if I'm correct in thinking, I think her new title, she's gone back to being like Amy's founder in brand marketing. So I think she's just specifically doing Amy's brand marketing. So it's not Odd Muse, but it ties into that in itself. You know, for example, you could have like it'd be like Grace Beverly having someone specifically just for her kind of content.
Speaking of Grace Beverly, I'm glad you brought her up, because recently she's been on Jamie Lang's Great Company podcast, and she in herself, although she may not have been speaking about all her specific brands in that podcast, her being on that platform, everyone associates it. In her description, she always says proud founder. Amy Smale has been on Liv Atwood's podcast. So there's definitely an untapped market, and I think it's certain brands who are the quick ones, the first social media, who know that it's happening, because we've been talking over the last couple of episodes about how celebrities, actors, they're all getting out into these social spaces, and video podcasts are a big part of that. I mean, we're currently on one. We're talking to you guys about marketing, but there's so much content to consume, and this is why I always say, brands, there's something out there for all of you. It doesn't have to be that viral one grid post on TikTok or Instagram. It could be a viral moment from a video podcast. It could be being in the cultural moment. You don't know where your next big thing is going to come from, and if you're the first to the pillar or get an opportunity to have a conversation that is really interesting and builds an entire audience, automatically you've got a viewership there, and you've got brand buy-in because it's authenticity.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's the biggest word for it. Like, you want to feel that what you're being fed, in a sense, is authentic. Like, you're happy to sit and watch it. And like Grace Beverly, I'd only just seen that she's just launched another brand. She's having a baby. Like, she's got 5 brands, I think, this point. She's just launched another brand.
She's a machine.
I think it's a water brand, don't quote me, but it's a water brand, and I'd seen that it's basically like part of her lifestyle, like how she lives her lifestyle. So water to skin, I think that's what it's called. And
it's a filter.
It's a filter, like for the showers, for your drinking, but it's like she's built this whole company where like all of her brands feed into how she actually likes to live her lifestyle. And I think she's got such an audience, but also a lot of people probably do also just want to live that way. So what you're being fed, in a sense, or what you're seeing comes naturally, and you think, well, of course that makes sense for her to, you know, produce something like that. She
brought out maternity range because she's pregnant, and she's never done that before. And like that, it just makes sense, because you know you want to live and breathe those brands, and maybe you then, because she is a brand in itself, you as the consumer are then brought into that and want to live her way of life as well.
What do you guys think? Are podcasts and being broadcasters the next way into people's homes?
I think they are. I think they already
into people's homes.
Yeah, that sounds a bit dodgy.
From the screen.
To circle all the way back, we've got an exciting summer. We've got a lot of good things to watch out for. Big summer of sports. We might have a few more things, you know, thrown in there that might
hopefully
surprise
an extra
us.
Bank holiday.
Hopefully no more chocolate stolen anywhere in the world. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you Jade for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Will you be back?
Potentially.
Thanks everyone. See you next time.
Later.
Bye.